Within the design space, or just the general online entrepreneurial circuit, there comes a time early on in your journey where you need to sign a client by showing them your previous experience. But you can't show them your previous experience because it's the beginning of your career and you have no experience to show. So is this just some kind of catch-22 where you can't sign a client because you can't show them your experience, or you also can't get any experience because you can't sign a client? Well, that's the exact problem I'm going to show you how to solve in this video. Hello, I'm Landon William, and I am the lead operator at Caливia Media, where we are designing websites and running internet marketing for blue-collar companies. And I ran into this similar problem early on in my journey where I couldn't develop a portfolio page because I had no previous experience, but I needed to do that to get a client. However, I quickly discovered this was not much of a problem as I thought. It wasn't as big of a problem as I thought because early on in my design journey, I found this website called goodbrief.io. I discovered this through a course. I'll link this in the description. But what this algorithm does is it allows you to take a graphic design prompt or something of that similar nature and apply it to an industry. And it gives that industry brief off of just randomly generated thing. You're going to have to improvise a little bit with the categories here, but what is so great about this tool is it allows you to just rinse and repeat over and over and get used to the cycle of somebody sending you a brief and then you being able to build it completely from scratch. So for me, something that's closest to the blue collar industries like real estate, travel, transportation, all of these industries are fairly similar. So I'm going to select real estate. It's going to generate this for me here. Okay, company name, Purple Dewdrop. That sounds real. Company description, we offer a selection of pre-construction offices with great prices. Our target audience is seniors. We want to convey a sense of security while at the same time being inexpensive. Sounds like a real brief, okay? You must create a website that will mainly provide customer support for the company. Okay, so this is, again, it gets you used to going through a brief, outlining all of the key desired areas. You can be like, okay, all right, mainly compare customer support, so that means we need to be easy to contact, easy to navigate, all of that kind of thing, because same thing, you got seniors using this site. You want those seniors to be able to contact the customer support very easily, very simply. So the goal is to emphasize the brand's values, landing page, information page, shop page, privacy policy page. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 pages, 5 pages with the contact section. So those are the things that you just got to get used to. You go, okay, we need this. All right, I'm going to bullet point this out. I'm going to create this brief, and I see that there's the deadline. Okay, right here, deadline. I got a whole work week to do this. All right, 5 days. I'm going to do the landing page on Monday. I'm going to do, like, you bullet point that out. You break up your time, and you get really good at that. So that way, when you're getting into the client process, you already have that nailed down. And then, what is good about this, what you use this tool for, is you use this to create these websites. So what I would always do here is I would take this, I'd copy paste it into a Google Doc. So you take this, the Google Doc, put it into here, and again, you'd write down all your notes on here of what you need to bullet point. You write down all of those different timelines that you're going to give yourself, and you pop it over into whatever your thing is. So for me, I need to build up a website portfolio of design work that I've done and that I'm capable of doing so that I can show it to prospective content or client. Go to edit site and you would create that full build out, and then that way you don't have legitimate sites in there, but you can say here's my perspective, my ideal sites. This is what I can do. This is what I'm capable of, because that's the whole thing. The reason that you want a portfolio in the first place is to show your competence. It shows your skill, shows what you're capable of. Okay, that's what you're going to do at any point in your journey, and this just helps you do it now without having to have legitimate clients. And so, what you do this, a way that you can do this, is you take that brief, and then you go to another website like this one. This is called Godly website, godly.website. I'll link this one too. This is a great inspiration website. These are just huge companies. A lot of these are tech companies that have paid to have astronomically good websites done for them. So a lot of these are a lot of Apple pages on here. There's a Meta one I think is on here. There's Threads right there. A lot of these exceptional websites. So you go to these and it'll pop you over to the website and all that kind of stuff. So you go through here, and this is like kind of like Pinterest for websites. And you just see all this design information. When you pop over to the websites, you can be like, okay, they did this for the about page. This is how they listed this. And then the way that I'm going to tie that into there is once you get all of those things and it comes time for you to actually make a portfolio page, it's the subject of this video, you take those, and the way that I frame my portfolio pages is you take the portfolio pages and you make good mock-ups, okay? So a mock-up is not a screenshot. You can't just be making a screenshot of what you've done in the past, because that's not compelling. That's not interesting. That's not going to show a product demonstration, okay? So you're going to go over to something like Canva if you don't have free Photoshop. Canva is free Photoshop if you haven't heard of it. And you are going to just use basic mockups. You can use all these different things. These are all free tools on here. You can create things like this, okay? So you take the screenshots of the websites, but then you plug them into, okay, this is what it looks like on an iPhone. Lovely. And you go through all of these different like product demonstration things. You just drag and drop it. And then you take that, you take those images and you plug those into your website. And that's when you get the whole portfolio page, and it looks super nice and tied together. So once you have a portfolio page, something that some people do if they don't feel exactly ready to engage in a business deal, then that they can take that portfolio page and they put it on freelance sites like Upwork or Fiverr. Okay, so those are two really good ones. A lot of people are interacting on those. You can go to those sites, and those, once again, are allowing you to get the business experience of interacting with a client. They're going to give you a brief. It's going to be lower ticketed, lower pressure events, but it's going to give you more experience, and you are going to get a little bit of compensation for it. But my advice to you is to bypass all of that, at least the freelance part. So a way that you can do the freelance thing, but my whole thing with this is so many people over anticipate and get overly concerned about what the actual client acquisition process is going to be like. They put off all of that client outreach and getting into the real deal before they actually can, because the best way to build up a portfolio is to get legitimate clients as soon as possible. So you take this and you take these briefs and do them, but the very second that you are ready to roll that into a real client acquisition strategy, the better. So you need to get that real experience. You need to get real engagement with these people, because it's not, you can't just dilly-dally forever. So instead, what I recommend doing is you take all of your brief websites that you do, all of those concept projects, and you roll those immediately into legitimate clients. Because that's what I did. If you think that that's impossible, oh, you can't do that. You have to have more practice. You got to get really, really good at this. But believe me, there's industries out there, there's places that you can go where people just legitimately need this done. And those higher pressure, higher intensity engagements with those businesses, having that real thing where you're like, this is the real deal. That's what's going to refine you the fastest, because that pressure makes diamonds, is what they say. So that pressure of a real business engagement is what is going to really make you better than your competition, refine your skill the fastest, and build you a legitimate portfolio the fastest. It's also going to give you the highest financial compensation, so that way you're also going to be more encouraged to do it down the line. Like, you're going to continue to want to do that instead of being burnt out faster. So really take it and snowball it as fast as you can, okay? Don't use every single stepping stone. You can use them if you have to, but my advice is I strongly urge you, scale it up as fast as you possibly can. I hope that this was encouraging, and I hope that it also was just informative. Hopefully it was helpful to you, because it was a problem that I ran into in my journey, so I wanted to be able to help people out with that. So I think that covers it for everything. Hopefully this was enjoyable. Hopefully it was informative, like I said. And if it was, let me know, I suppose. Till next time, stay wise.